to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to talk about my first ever book. I'm so excited about it. The book is titled Simplified Legal Process of Buying Land in Kenya, which I'm in the process of writing it. It will launch on 22nd February 2021. So in this video, I'll basically tell you what you'll expect from my book. Before we get started, for those who are new here, I am Ruth Tanui, an advocate of the High Court of Kenya and also the founder and managing partner of Ruth Tanui and Company Advocates. First, I'll start by stating the fact that statistics show that 8 out of 10 people get conned while buying land in Kenya. So my book, basically, in a summary, is to help people who are in the process of buying land or who intend to buy land to ensure that they don't fall victim. My book is going to have 9 chapters. It will consist of 9 chapters. The ninth, it's basically 8 chapters. The 9th chapter is mostly a bonus chapter because I'm going to talk about what you need to look out for when hiring a lawyer in Kenya. Because if you have been following my channel, I've been sharing content about land matters. Even there are videos that I've already put up here in my channel. I'm going to link them on the description box. So this is what you're going to expect from my book. First, I'll be talking about all you need to know about the new developments currently. For instance, I'm sure most people have already heard, all landowners or plot owners will be required to process new title deeds. This, in summary, it's just the government now wants new title deeds to be under the new land laws that were introduced in 2012. Because title deeds right now are under the previous laws, like the Registration of Land Act, RLA. So the Ministry of Lands want the new title deeds to be based on the new land laws, basically the Land Registration Act that was introduced in 2012. So what first this thing means, if you have land that hasn't completely transferred to, because it may sound so like simple, but most people, they normally, especially in rural areas, they normally get land they want to buy. Let's say for agricultural purposes, they draft the sale agreement, they pay the entire purchase price of the land, and they don't proceed to do the rest of the things that come after drafting a sale agreement, like doing the valuation, doing the transfer and everything. So you find, you are already, that land for you, it's yours, but at the land registry, the details show that the land still belongs to the person who sold it to you. So at least now you have to make sure that at least the land has transferred to you, because when you'll be processing these new titles, you have to be the owner of that land. So those are some of the things I'm going to touch on my book. I'm going to also go in detail to the process, how it's going to affect you, I'm also going to go in detail on how it will affect you as a landowner and the process that you'll need to undertake. The second thing I'll talk about is the mistakes people often do while buying land in Kenya. For instance, let's just start with a simple one. People don't do a land visit. It may sound so simple. The excuses people normally have is, of course, I'm busy, or I know mtu tumetoka mbali. And doing a land visit is everything. Remember, even at the land registry, the search will only give you like who is the original owner, if there's a caution, if there's something that someone has applied to land. But land will never put that this land, the search will never give information like there's someone who has encroached into this land. Some people do a land visit and you find this like a family already living in that property, like a whole family, or you find someone has already built maybe a road, has created a road on that property, or someone has built a house that has encroached into that land. So doing a land visit is very important. The moment you want to buy land, even before, let me even tell you, the search is very important. At least confirm who's the original owner of that land, but also do that land visit. Or sometimes you may find, I think you've also heard of scenarios where someone is buying land first that doesn't exist, or secondly, land that you want to do agriculture and the land is just rocky. So those are some of the mistakes I'll talk about on my book. Thirdly, I'll give a beginner's guide to buying land in Kenya. This is basically a list or a guideline that you'll have to ensure as a landowner you have exhausted before doing anything. Like even before doing the search, before investing your hard-earned money, you have to ensure you have done. For instance, doing an extensive search. currently under the land laws of Kenya, like for instance, Kenyan citizens can own both leasehold and freehold tenure in land. Then for foreigners, you can't hold a freehold. It has to be strictly a leasehold. So those are some of the things you need to know. It's information you need to know before you even like start do anything. The moment you're just like you want to invest in land, these are some of the things. Basically, this will be a guide of the things you'll have to have done. Also, another thing, leasehold only is for a term of 99 years, and if you don't apply for an extension or you don't renew your lease, your land automatically reverts back to the government. So ensure you do this, not even for your, just to ensure maybe you're not buying land that has already reverted back to the government. So these are some of the things that this topic now, which will be chapter 3 of the book, The Beginner's Guide of Buying Land in Kenya, will guide you. The fourth thing, which will be chapter 4, I'll talk about now the legal. This is now the key, the legal process of buying land in Kenya. What most people normally do, like even right now, I know most people, even there are people who already own land and this is the process they use, they go straight to drafting the sale agreement, especially if they are buying land from someone they know. And there are 5 steps that you're supposed to do before even drafting the sale agreement, like doing a land search and the land visit that I've already talked about. So these are some, there'll be I'll divide it into 2. There'll be the initial stage now before drafting the sale agreement and the after. So like for instance, now I'll give the steps you need to do first before getting down to drafting the sale agreement. And then now on the after the initial stage, now I'll talk about now what happens after drafting the sale agreement. Most people, they stopped from drafting the sale agreement, they don't go ahead. So if people they have lived in properties for over like 10 years that it hasn't fully transferred to them. For them, I think most people have this perception after you've drafted the sale agreement and you've paid the purchase price, that's where it stops. But no. And also you have to ensure that it's very simple, but you have to do a postal search. Like let's say for instance you've already done everything, you've bought your land, you've done the sale agreement, you've done everything, the transfer has already been done. You also have to do the final step is ensuring that you have done a search to now confirm that the property has actually transferred under your name at the land registry. People normally don't do this part because sometimes, trust me, there have been scenarios where someone has done everything, but at the land registry maybe there was a mistake. The green card now is what now, which has the name of the original owner at the records at the land registry. So if you have done everything, I remember when I was still, there's a time I think it was Kiambu land registry. Someone was in such a dilemma. Yeah, they did everything, but the green card was still reading the name of the seller. So at least make sure you do that final search. So that's some of the things I'll talk about under that chapter. And then chapter 5 of my book will be about, I'll talk about the professionals you need to deal with while buying land in Kenya. Like the role of each professional. For instance, a valuer who is supposed, and at what time do these professionals come in? I know most people feel the excuse of many people for not using a professional is normally these people are expensive. But remember, this is something, I'm sure land is not like going to a shop and buying a pair of shoes. This is a long-term investment. So, and most of these professionals, they'll charge you according to the value of the land. Even us as advocates, we charge according to the value of the land. So of course, by then, if you're buying, maybe some people the excuse is I'm just buying a land for $500,000. So if I use all these professionals, I'll find myself spending more than even what I'm going to use, or less than $500,000. But remember, this professional charge you according to the value of the land. So I'm going to state like valuers, physical planners, like all the people, if you want to do surveyors, for people who want to do maybe subdivision. So I'm going to talk about all that in my book, especially now specifically this chapter 5. Then under chapter 6, I'll talk about share certificates. I know there are people who, share certificate is a way of showing ownership, apart from title deeds, ownership of land. So I'm going to talk about it, like, because there are people who have share certificates as opposed to title deeds. But considering even right now what is happening, the title deeds are being changed, I would advise like people who have share certificates to, because there's a process you use your share certificate to get a title deed for that land. You'll get a title deed. There's a process. So that's some of I'll talk about that process, the process you'll need to do, like to get your title deed, because right now changes happen. So I think, yeah, share certificates, if you have it here, it shows ownership, but I feel it's much safer, because you find the problem also with these share certificates, you find the original owner of that share certificate, the one who had the share certificate before, the initial owner, has sold it like to 4 people. By the time you're the one owning that share certificate, it has been you're not the original one. So that means even when you process the title, it will first come under the name of the original person who was given that share certificate. So it's going to be a whole process. So that's why I normally prefer, like, have the title deed itself. So I'm going to talk about the process of I'll talk about the process of not getting a title deed when you have a share certificate. Chapter 7 basically now will be, you can write about everything. So I'll just get some few frequently asked questions from what I've, mostly these are questions that maybe but if you haven't been following my channel, I've been writing about land matters in my website, and also I've been sharing videos here about land issues. So I've been getting questions as I've been doing those videos on land. So I'll just summarize some of those questions there. For instance, the most asked question is at what time, because as I've said, a lease is a term for 99 years. So most people normally ask, like, how do you know how long this land has been? At what time do you apply for the extension? What is the process? Those are some of the few, like, also people know that you put a caution, you put a caveat on land, but people don't know what it is, or some people don't know what it is or how you do it. So I'm going to, and it's very important, especially if it's maybe for instance, if you are buying land and then you realize there's something fishy going on. The simple thing you'll just do, you go to the land agency and put a caution on that land, so that nothing happens to that land until everything is solved. Or maybe if you're in the process, but then these things, they might look very simple, but sometimes they can save you, especially if you realize you're being conned and you're buying in the process of buying land. If there's a way you can go and put caution on that land, so that no one else can be solved for that land until you solve the issue that is going on. So I'm going to also talk about what are those, just in this chapter, frequently asked questions, in summary here. So while you're still here, because I'm still in the process of writing the book, you can still put, if there are questions you'd want answered, you can still add it here in the comment section. There are people by there who inbox me, so you can also, like, I'll put my Facebook page here, my Instagram page here on the screen, so that if you have any question and you don't want maybe to put it here on the public comment section, you can just inbox me, and I'll ensure it's part of what will be dealt with in this book. The final chapter of my book, chapter 8, is going to deal with the legal checklist of buying land in Kenya. I'll basically put the entire list from the beginning, what you're supposed to be doing, so that if after buying my book, if you want to buy land, it will be a guideline. You can even go ahead and just tick. I'll even put boxes where you can tick, so just to ensure you haven't skipped any step. And then now, my chapter 9 is just going to be more of a bonus title. It's a bonus title, where now, because I've said you need to use professionals, especially advocates of the High Court of Kenya, in this chapter I'm going to talk about what you need to look out for when hiring a lawyer. The things you need to look out for. Like, for instance, what people normally don't do, you can, before, just ensure the person you're dealing with is an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. So for instance, you should do a search. Do a search, and then do an engagement letter, where it's more of a contact between you and the advocate, so that the advocate is both you and the advocate have protected yourselves, so that if the deal goes sour or south, at least you protected yourself. So thank you so much for watching. If you want to pre-order, my book, as I've said, it will launch on the 22nd of February 2021. But if you want to pre-order my book, pre-ordering my book will mean you'll get a 20% off. I'm selling my book at 1,000. So if you pre-order the book, you'll get it at 800 shillings. Yes. So the process of pre-ordering the book is, you can go to my website, which is here on the screen, www.ruthtanelcompanyadvocates, to pre-order it from there, or you can send us an email at lawyerruthitano@gmail.com. Basically, on the email, just put the subject if you want to pre-order the book. And then you can also call us at 0738. I'm going to put 372 350. I'm going to put the number here on the screen. So thank you so much. I hope this book is going to be beneficial, because I want it to be the book to be impactful, right? And I hope this video has given you a summary of what you'll benefit from buying my book. Thank you so much.